Maayong adlaw mga higala, welcome to my channel. Before anything else, let me just say this. Please take care of yourselves by staying at home and by observing proper hygiene and sanitation. Aside from that, let us also help each other, especially those who are greatly affected by the quarantine. Let's be honest, I am very late with this review, and if you Google for reviews of the Y9 Prime 2019, you'd see tons of it. But I want to do this review not just from the perspective of a tech reviewer, but also as an average Joe or your typical regular public school teacher. First off, unboxing the Y9 Prime 2019, you'd see the handset itself with a screen protector already attached. Underneath that, you also have a transparent jelly case, some paperwork, the USB Type-C cord, the power adapter, and a 3.5mm headset. Spec-wise, the Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 rocks the following: a 6.59-inch Full HD LTPS IPC LCD, a Kirin 710F, 4 gigs of RAM, storage we have 64 gigs or 128 gigs, plus expandable memory, and it has a 4000 mAh battery. Aside from that, the Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 rocks a triple camera setup. We have a 16-megapixel main camera, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2-megapixel depth sensor, and the star of this phone is the selfie camera, which is a motorized pop-up 16-megapixel camera. Now, since that is out of the way, what I want to talk about the Y9 Prime 2019 will likely go the way of my actual use of it in and out of work. Specifically, I will discuss 3 things which makes the Y9 Prime 2019 a strong choice for 2020. Since getting back into the teaching profession, I have encountered numerous scenarios where teachers have to deal with their smartphones becoming extremely unreliable during times when they needed it the most. This is an all too common issue with budget smartphones, especially with the entry and close to mid-tier level smartphones. Unresponsiveness, spotty internet connection, and low storage are the key reasons why I seldom recommend budget smartphones, even from established brands. But times have changed, thanks to the heavy competition coming from Chinese brands Vivo, Oppo, Xiaomi, and Huawei. Cheap handsets don't necessarily mean cheap performance. Huawei and the other Chinese manufacturers have finally released a slew of budget-level smartphones that really shine despite being in the budget tier. The Huawei Y9 Prime 2019 is no exception. Currently priced at around $10,990 or around $210, this is a phone which many of my co-workers can afford. When I first used the Huawei Y9 Prime for a full day, my immediate reaction to it was how reliable it was. While it does have a slightly dated Kirin 710F chip, it doesn't feel dated at all, and using one app after another just feels smooth. The 4 gigs of RAM may not be up to standards with the flagship devices or even with other mid-tier smartphones nowadays, but it felt quite enough. Though less RAM, apps brought further to the background after being on standby for some time will likely have to restart when accessed through the recent apps. But the lack of RAM didn't hamper the overall experience. In the time I have used the Y9 Prime as my daily driver, I haven't hit a snag in its performance that would ruin the overall experience. Sure, it doesn't rival that of higher mid-tier devices or flagship devices, but it functioned well enough when I needed it to, and held its ground on many occasions when I have to constantly switch through several tasks. Aside from raw performance, I believe that the total experience of the phone itself is as important, and reliability is at the top of that list. I say this because most of us who have a smartphone are probably online most of the time, and as a public school teacher, in this period of time, we need to be online not only to research about topics that we teach, but also make and submit reports online. The pandemic situation we are all in right now seems to highlight the need even more. While the intention of online is to make our lives easier, this isn't usually the case for us, and there are far too many instances where teachers are stressed out trying to send reports online because of spotty internet connection. It is equally frustrating and stressful, especially for those who shell out their own money for data. Well, during my time of use, I have noticed the Y9 Prime held on to the connection far better than my Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Where there were many instances I had to restart my Note 8, the Y9 Prime continued to give steady, consistent connection and never let go. How do I know this? Well, internet signals in our school is really bad, yet the Y9 Prime just nails it most of the time without any disconnection, and despite the ISP slowing down, the Y9 Prime just holds on. This reliability also comes handy during online gameplay, especially with Mobile Legends, where it is mostly played in my area during off hours. I experienced lesser lag compared to those who I was playing with at the same time. So price, reliability, and lastly battery life. The Y9 Prime 2019's 4000 mAh battery just lasts the whole day. There was this instance on a very busy day we had to be online to file and submit reports. Being a power user, I had data turned on at 6 a.m., Bluetooth turned on and connected to my Bluetooth headphones for 6 hours, and my laptop tethered to the Y9 Prime 2019 as an internet hotspot from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Added to this was a particularly bad 3G signal, which can easily drain the battery. My Samsung Note 8 battery would have been completely drained out before 12 noon. I was pleasantly surprised that the Y9 Prime 2019 not only lasted the whole day, but had enough juice to spare before I got home. So I have covered 3 important aspects of the Y9 Prime 2019 that might make it into your consideration. Yet, the good stuff doesn't stop there. Aesthetically, the phone looks really good despite the polycarbonate back cover. The high glossy two-tone finish gave me the impression that the phone had a glass back. It even felt like it. So while it is basically plastic, it looks and feels premium to the touch. But a finish like this is a fingerprint magnet, and because it isn't oleophobic like most glass backs from premium devices, it'll probably look smudgy after a day of use. Aside from that, the Y9 Prime 2019's back is easily prone to scratches, so you might eventually protect the phone with a proper case. Furthermore, the rear camera was surprisingly sufficient. Not great, but sufficient. In strong lighting conditions, shadows are crushed and low light performance is bad. However, the ultra-wide, image quality-wise isn't really good. It was wide, but details are easily lost even in well-lighted conditions. I suggest that you use it with much hesitation. I am not really complaining, but it might be part of your consideration. Overall, the camera is sufficient for your day-to-day use. If you are into gaming, the Y9 Prime 2019 doesn't disappoint. With a 6.59-inch Full HD screen, gaming on the Y9 Prime 2019 is immersive. Based on reviews done so far, it can run graphically demanding games at higher settings. So if you're worried about gaming performance, the Y9 Prime 2019 is no slouch. With the price range, I really don't have much complaints about the Y9 Prime 2019, except for the pop-up camera. I know this is part of the selling point. In paper and renders, it looks really good, but in practice, it can be very stressful. There were instances that I do video calls while lying down, and the fear that I might snag the pop-up camera is not something I want to deal with. So those are my reasons why this 2019 handset is still a strong contender for your budget smartphone for 2020. Basically, budget phones these days don't feel as sluggish as before and could actually last quite a while until your next upgrade. Should you get this phone? Well, that depends on you. But like I said, the Y9 Prime 2019 is a strong contender. Thank you for watching this review. I hope everyone stays safe during this time. I will publish as much content as I can muster during this quarantine. Again, stay safe everyone, and see you again next time.